Hello, my name is Prashanti. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, yogi, activist, ethno-pharmacologist, and the herbal and Ayurvedic facets of the original organic Indian food. I'm here to talk to you today about one of my favorite herbs, an herb I take every day. It's called Arjuna. The Latin name is Terminalia Arjuna. It's one of the world's greatest heart herbs, also known as a cardiac tonic, also known as tropho-restorative for the heart. There are over 30 mechanisms of how Arjuna helps the heart. So the other day I was giving a talk to a bunch of doctors about heart health, and I broke it down into all the different ways that you can use herbs to support heart wellness, heart health. And I had about 30, actually a little bit over 30 different mechanisms. In each case, I had an example of an herb that was kind of like the epitome or one of the best herbs that you could use to activate that activity for the heart. In each case, Arjuna was the primary example of an herb that had this activity. There's a few cases where it was secondary, but it was still on the list. It's an incredible herb for the heart, especially. When you find an herb with such an incredible confluence of factors of supporting something, you know it's going to be just indomitable. It's going to be inexorable in establishing a terrain in that organ that will be absolutely unsuitable for anything other than wellness. Confluence of factors. Here's a metaphor for you. I grew up in Western Michigan, where 4 months out of the year, there was several feet of snow on the ground. So out in the countryside, there would always be cars in the ditch. If one or two people were there to push that car out, chances are that car would stay in the ditch. However, like my dad and his sons, all strong bricklayers with a good sense of mechanics, arrived at this scene, chances are that car would come out of the ditch. Then imagine like if I showed up in a whole busload of wrestlers heading off to some meet someplace. You have 35 wrestlers showing up. The car would practically be picked up and carried out of the ditch. So this confluence of factors assured results. You would have the car would leave the ditch. In the same way, Arjuna has a whole confluence of factors. If there's only one way it helped the heart, maybe something would happen. 2 or 3 ways, chances are pretty good. But 30 different mechanisms. We'll talk about these mechanisms soon. Right now, I want to show you what Arjuna looks like. Notice that it's a pink bark. There's also some photographs I want to show you. This first photograph is one of a friend of mine, Ravi Singh, and myself. You can see that we're standing basically in an Arjuna forest. You can see Arjuna is quite a large tree. Actually, in this picture, Arjunas aren't that large, but they're there. As I said, that's me and Dr. Ravi Singh, who's one of the first CEOs of Organic India. And you can see the scope of it. In this second picture, you get to see just what the medicine is of Arjuna. It is the inner bark, which is pink, which is an interesting moment of the doctrine of signatures, which states that an herb looks like, well, what it looks like will give you clues to what it treats. So of course, pink is always associated with the heart and the blood. And indeed, Arjuna is truly one of the world's greatest herbs for the heart. The fact that it is a thick, strong bark foreshadows its ability to give a person resilience and fortitude. And the fact that it is a large, vertical orientated tree indicates that it supports the fire aspects of the body. And the heart and the red blood are often seen as commanders and carriers of the fire element in the body. In this next picture, you get a better idea of what a large, strong tree Arjuna can be. We also know now that the medicine is its inner bark. So note the bark on this tree, which I found in the middle of a jungle in central India. You can see where the bark has been harvested by the local tribal people, a little at a time over the course of many, many years. You can see the older scars have healed, and the newer ones are beginning to do so. The tribals in these forests, mainly tribes like Santals, use Arjuna as medicine for sure, but they also use it as a recreational tea. Pretty tuned in folks, and also indicative of thousands of years that Arjuna has been used as a heart herb in many different traditions. Also, this shows that it's a large forest tree, and so please ask your herb supplier where they get their Arjuna from, because as you can imagine, it's very easy to have non-sustainable Arjuna when companies just come in and clear cut out a forest. So ask your herb supplier where they're getting it. One of my favorite things is etymological ethno-pharmacology. So this name, Arjuna, where does it come from? Arjuna is the name of one of the greatest warriors of all history, just legendary great. He was one of the five Pandavas, kind of the central figure in the great epic, the Mahabharata, and also the Bhagavad Gita for that matter. There was no end to his ability as a warrior. So there's this Ayurvedic herbal, it's about 400 years old, it's called the Bhav Prakash. And in this herbal, it says nothing can be said about Arjuna the warrior that can't be said about Arjuna the herb. So you know, I'm all over that. I start going through all my ancient books, my Puranas, which are the ancient books of myths and legends, find all the names of Arjuna the warrior, then get out my Sanskrit dictionaries and cross-reference and see what these things that can be said about Arjuna the warrior, what they can be saying about Arjuna the herb. First of all, Arjuna, he's a warrior. So what do warriors need? Warriors need very strong, brave hearts. Arjuna is a great herb for the heart. Spiritual heart, emotional heart, psychic heart. And just this solidity of spirit that comes with a warrior. With a warrior can't be just all afraid, you know, and his spirit can't quake. The spirit of a warrior has to be very strong and clear, sharp and focused. So Arjuna helps in this way. There's many other ways that, other names that I've found. Here are a few. Chitra Yodhan. Chitra means many, Yodhan means warrior. It means a warrior of manifold methods. So in other words, a warrior who can use a sword, a warrior who can shoot with a bow, a warrior who can use your hands. In the same way, Arjuna, as I've said, has 30 different ways he can help the heart. So it's Chitra-yodhan. Jaya. Jaya means victory. So it means that Arjuna can invoke victory. Victory, in this case, meaning deep, complete wellness. Nadija. It means an herb. Nadija just means born from flowing channeled prana. It means, and in this case, what is the main channeled prana in the body? It's the blood. So we know that Arjuna supports the blood. Chakra, not to be confused with chakra. Chakra, it's like Shakti. It means a lot of deep core strength. Gudakesha. Guda means the hair. Guda means thick. Kesha means hair. So it refers to having very thick hair. The hair is the blossom of the adrenals. And so when you have very thick, beautiful hair, it tends to mean you have really strong adrenals. So Gudakesha means that Arjuna is an adrenal tonic. And indeed, we know it is. We know this from tradition. Also, we know this from Western science confirmation. Oh, here's a great one. Hridya Rog Varan. It literally means being hostile to heartaches. Is that a great name? It's just it's hostile to heartaches. It destroys heartaches. This is an indication of how Arjuna works on the subtle heart as well. It's another one. I have a whole list here. Another one, Medo Meha Vranajit. It means which cures wounds and reduces fat. We know that Arjuna is loaded with astringent tannins, and a lot of the actions that Arjuna has are these astringent tannins. So when you have a wound, you want that wound to heal. So the astringent tannins do exactly that. Also in the same mechanism that helps rid the body of fat, and this will become, we'll talk about this in just a bit. Another one, here's a saying, Arjuna Kanda, Arjuna is used in removing Kshatriya disease. Kshatriya is a warrior. What would be the two diseases of the warrior? One, I mean the two things that would be kind of hard on the warrior, one would be fear, like fear would destroy a warrior. So Arjuna helps that. But fear is like what we would call Rajas Bhattu in Ayurveda. And so Arjuna helps stabilize the spirit and makes that spirit just horrible terrain for fear. The other aspect of a warrior's disease is fierceness. Like when there's too much focus, just too much just diving into it, and where the focus actually takes a life of its own. This can cause like too much acidity in the body, and we know that Arjuna also supports that. So now let's talk about the physical aspects of art. We have been talking about it, but those aspects which are used in the tradition, known to the tradition, but also which are confirmed by contemporary Western science. Remember, I say confirmed, not proven. It's just already been proven in thousands of years of use. But we can use, through the lens of Western science, we can see all those different ways that have also been confirmed by that lens. So one of them, one of my favorites, is inflammation. We all know that inflammation is the key. Controlling, having healthy inflammatory response is just key to a fundamental aspect of invoking wellness. Cytokines are key to this, literally. A cytokine is a molecular message, and there are hundreds involved in healthy inflammation response. However, there are some key players like NF-kappa beta, the nuclear factor kappa B, and now the famous COX-2, the cyclooxygenase 2, that are especially important to take care of. Arjuna does just this, thereby striking at the center of healthy inflammation response. The next one is Arjuna quells free radicals. Know that much of the damage inflicted in tissue by the environment and in our food, in our air, it's caused by free radicals that literally melt the cells, tissues, and organs with what is known as lipid peroxidation. Just as rust can decay a hunk of steel or iron like a car, in exactly the same mechanism, which is oxidation, there are many molecules that literally break down tissue and function cell by cell. Arjuna strongly quells free radicals. In fact, like its cousins, Vivataki and Haritaki, it is one of the strongest herbs when it comes to quelling free radicals. All the terminalias are potent healers, in fact. Terminalia chibula, which is Haritaki, is actually held in the medicine Buddha's right hand. So, quelling free radicals is great, but imagine if you can also support the endogenous antioxidants in the body to do this. This is one of the best ways to actually support the body. So Arjuna boosts these endogenous antioxidants, and by doing so, boosts the innate intelligence of the body. Many of the molecules in Arjuna boost some of these important endogenous antioxidants like SOD, superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione, many others as well. Arjuna is also hypolipidemic. As we know, keeping healthy blood levels of lipid or fats is key to wellness, and Arjuna supports that. This includes healthy levels of carriers of lipids, lipid chaperones as they're called, like LDL and HDL. Arjuna restores healthy LDL and HDL ratios. LDL, we typically want lower LDL because that's the lipoprotein that carries lipids into the cells. HDL is the chaperone that carries these lipids towards the liver. Arjuna is hyperglycemic. We all know that keeping healthy levels of blood sugar is key to wellness. So Arjuna drops that, helps control blood sugar levels. Arjuna is bradycardiac, which means it helps to slow down the heart. especially this is mediated through the vagus, which is important. That's parasympathetic. So it's not slowing it by like making it lethargic. It's actually communicating through the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is a really great way to support anti-stress activity systemically. Arjuna lowers body mass index, BMI, which is an indication of wellness in many different ways. Arjuna literally strengthens the heart muscle. I love this. It literally, as a muscle, Arjuna strengthens the heart muscle. This next slide, I love this. Arjuna vivifies heart hemodynamics. Yes, being a potent antioxidant and supporting healthy inflammatory response is important, but sometimes you can't immediately see this. These hemodynamics, it literally shows how Arjuna supercharges heart function. This is thrilling to me. This is related to the previous slide of heart health, of course, and also shows how a physically strong heart can support so many facets of our being. Arjuna supports all facets of the heart, everything you can measure and more, increasing flows, volumes, amplitudes, outputs, strength, auricular, ventricular, diastolic, systolic, the whole picture, all the while relaxing the heart, slowing the heart down, making the heart more stable, making the heart more solid, as Patanjali would say, making the heart sukha and stira, strengthening the heart, yet calming the heart. We love this about Arjuna. So one last thing to talk about is the dose. Usually you can take 1 or 2 grams twice and possibly 3 times daily. One of the ways to take this is in milk. Remember that if you take it in milk, milk tends to bind with certain polyphenols, especially like the tannins. So if you want to use Arjuna more as like a deep strengthening tonic, then you can use it with milk, as that will stabilize certain molecules that support the long-term strength. If you want to use the Arjuna as an herb which kind of tightens the heart, which is a good thing, and make use of its astringent properties, then don't use the milk. You can also use it combined with ashwagandha, with tulsi, and with hawthorn greens. Sometimes I put saffron in there as well. So this is another herbal journal brought to you from the forests of West Marin, brought to you by Organic India, Pacific Center of Ayurveda, and Kailash Productions. Thank you very much. Very well.